Hey y'all, it's Lindsay with the Fiber Seed, and it is WIP Wednesday where I share what I've been working on, which are a couple of things. First up, this is my Ladyfinger sweater by Morgan Woltersdorf. Haven't worn it in a while, thought I'd put it on. Anyway, here it is, it's finished. It's a crop. I like it. Anyway, so what is going on this week? Well, if you missed it last week, this is what Dancing with Myself looks like on yarn. Anyway, this is the May color of the month. Looks like that in cake. Anyway, that was last week, but it is now live in the shop, so you can get some if you want it. But let's see what I'm working on. So, in my Cottontail Farms bag, love it, is my Standing Ovation by Kathy Lashley and Sprout worsted using neon lights. So this is my colorway where I donate 20% of the sale to the Cure Alzheimer's Fund because I named it for my grandpa, who was a neon sign painter who had Alzheimer's. So, not painter, he was a sign painter before neon was a thing, and then neon came along, and then he was a neon sign guy. Anyway, to that point, this is how my scarf is looking. Check that out. It's slip stitches, so if you are a beginner crocheter, if you can chain and you can slip stitch, you can do this. The pattern is a recipe, which is also great because it means there's not as, once you get your stitches there, you are going to town. It's the same thing all the way up. So that's how far I've gotten so far. This is how much of my ball I have left. So, and then I found my Billy and Ba crochet hook thingamajiggy. Anyway, look at this. It hooks on here to keep your live stitch from dropping, and it hooks onto your hook so you don't lose your hook in the bag. No lie, I went to go put it on and thought, of all this time that I've had my hook in my bag, did I actually lose it right before I was going to attach it to my work so I wouldn't lose it? I found it. It was folded behind my instructions. Anyway, that's that project, my crochet project. Now, I'll show you my other knit project and another Cottontail Farms bag. This one's got flamingos. Anyway, pink seemingly is a theme here for me. This is my Glide by Dawn Barker. I'm using Sprout Sock in Lovebirds. So you basically do a sign pooling stitch when you get to the color that you're doing. So these little baubles are actually like three-dimensional, not just blobs. It's very cool textural stuff. Anyway, this is an asymmetrical shawl. I wear them like kerchiefs around my neck. So this is where I'm at. The pattern calls for 2 balls. I have 1. I'm going to see how far I get with 1. Yeah, so that's where it is right now. Yeah. Oh, and I've got these guys so that I don't lose my stitches. Because right now I'm working on a 16-inch and I probably should go up to a 24, but my 24 is being used right now. I'll show you that in a second. So I'm using my end minders from Fangirl Fibers. So they make good eardrums. Anyway, that is that project. So I've gotten about that much further on it, which was pretty impressive, since I hadn't touched it for like a week. But I started something new. So this one is in my Allegheny Fiber Arts bag. And if you can't tell from the fabric, let's just guess whose project is in here. Other than the fact that this has been my project bag before for my projects, it's Penelope's. So I went and looked for a Raglan, like a simple Raglan sweater for her age group. Somebody suggested the Tolsta, which would have fit if, and I probably could have got it and then like wiggled the numbers down myself, but I didn't really feel like doing that. Because I just know where my brain is right now and it's not doing math like that. Anyway, I looked, and after scouring multiple pages of children's Raglan sweater patterns, I found one. Yeah. That age group is so still adorable. Like, not baby, but like from maybe like 4 to 12. That age group totally needs a zhuzh up in the pattern world for Raglan things for them. And I don't know that it's going to be me that helps do that, but hey, it's out there. If you've got some good design ideas for that age group, do it. because I would knit it in a heartbeat. Anyway, I found the good old Raglan. It's by the Twisted Knitwear, Karen O'Hanlon Court. And there's a picture. It's a basic Raglan, but it's a DK Raglan, and it starts in the back, and it has short rows. So I'm gonna be able to tell where the front and the back is, because I've had that before with my Raglans, where I'm like, where was the back and the front? And it takes a second. This will be able to easily look at it and tell. So I wanted to use the DK that she dyed probably 2 years ago when she was 4, and make her sweater. So I wound them all up, and since Penelope speckled them all, and they were kind of like, they're all at the same time, but some are heavier than others because she went to town in other spots. So I wound them. I looked at them before I wound them, and then I looked at them after I'd wound them. And what I'm doing is I'm alternating balls. See, because the middle one and this one in my hand here that I'm, wiggling, those two, it was the least speckled and the most speckled. So I'm alternating my rounds as I go, so that it kind of gives me a nice little medium, which is kind of what this one looked like on its own. So my plan is, because the pattern gave me the numbers for a long sleeved Raglan, and I wanted to do more of a sleeve like this for her, short sleeve, I'm going to use the two that's the most and least speckled together and see where I'm at when I'm done with the sweater. And if I have enough, I might just be able to put the ribbing on it and be done with it without pulling out the third ball. But if I have to, I'm going to finish the sweater with these two. Even if I have left over, I'm going to go into the third ball and do the sleeves, and that way it'll look like a uniform, all speckled amazingness. But what it looks like right now is this. Isn't it so cute? It looks so minute. But the fun thing about this is, because there's short rows, she uses German short rows, and there's a back and forth, but you're also raglaning at the same time. I was building my skills by trying to knit backwards instead of turning my work. I had it look like a typewriter. I had the front facing me the whole time. And so I was mentally in my mind looking at my stitches to switch around how to do my increases. And I had fun with it. So I've got some Ann Tudor sheepies on here, and a hippo and a pig. So those are my sleeves. And in my notes, when I was doing the short rows, I wrote down, I'm like, go to the white sheep and then go to the hippo when I needed to turn so I could work faster. And then, of course, I have my Nitty Vicky Vic's Knits stitch marker, because I said I was going to put those on her next sweater project. Here it is. And it's super cute. It's a super cute unicorn. And that's the one I picked, and I'm going to show Penelope the other two. She's probably going to make me put them elsewhere on here, so maybe I'll mark the front or something. I don't know. Or maybe I'll mark something else when I get to it, like the sleeve point, and then I'll have more unicorns in her speckled amazingness that is her project. So anyway, that is what I started yesterday. And then, on a fun note, one of my friends here locally who grew up on a sheep farm, they hadn't had sheep in a long time. He took over the family farm, and he brought back sheep, and he said he got Dorset. So I got my Fleece and Fiber book out, and I did some research on Dorset sheep, which there's a lot there. It's a lot of fun, and I think he picked the sheep up this past weekend, so I want to go see the sheep and see what we can do with the fleece, even though it's not necessarily meant to be a wool sheep. So that's a fun side project along with gardening, because it's the season of green. So if you want to follow that stuff, I'll be throwing stuff like that in my stories on the social medias if you want to see stuff like that too. Anyway, that is all I've been working on this week, other than dyeing yarn for Kentucky Sheep and Wool Festival, Sheep and Fiber. And then we'll be in Wooster, Ohio. That's in Lexington next weekend. And then we'll be in Wooster, Ohio for Great Lakes the following weekend. And then we'll be over at Hoosier Hills, just south of Indianapolis, the next weekend. So it's 3 opportunities, if you are regionally local to me, to come see me in person, squish the fibers, and have all the fun. So that is what I've been working on. But until next time, happy crafting.